Good afternoon. Calling to order the joint hearing of the Committee on Education and Committee on Water and Land. Oh. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Education and Committee on Water and Land. Today is Wednesday, February 9th, 3 p.m. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3 p.m. agenda for the Committee on Education and the Committee on Water and Land. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committees will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Friday, February 11th, 2022 at 3 p.m. in this conference room 229. And a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Should you experience any technical difficulties when it is your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. Your understanding is appreciated, and we would like to remind you that the committee has your written testimony. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the audio broadcast. If you wish to review the written testimony submitted, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. Thank you, and let me introduce my committee. To my right is our Vice Chair, Senator Donna Mikado Kim, and on video we have Senator Donovan Dela Cruz and Senator Kurt Favela. Would you like to introduce yours, Chair?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. For the Committee on Water and Land, in attendance is the Vice Chair, Senator Keith Agaran, as well as we have two, Senator Misalucha and Senator Favela on Zoom land. And we are expecting Senator Revere soon. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And we are here to hear Senate Bill 2186 relating to public school land transfer. This directs the conveyance to the Department of Education of certain lands used for public schools and owned by the counties of Kauai and Maui, the state, and the Department of Land and Natural Resources. It requires legislative approval prior to the sale, gift, or alienation of the fee simple title to lands owned by the Department of Education, appropriates funds to the Department of Education to effectuate conveyance and manage real property. To testify, Keith Hayashi, Interim Superintendent, please.
Not present, Chair.
Thank you. That is the only testifier we had. We have written comments from Craig Hurai, Director, Department of Budget and Finance. Oh, I see Randy Tanaka. Randy, do you have testimony for Senate Bill 2186, please?
Yes, aloha, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mikado Kim, members of the committee. Thank you very much for your time. We have submitted testimony and stand by our testimony. I am here to answer any questions that you may have. Aloha.
Thank you, Randy. Members, any questions for the Department of Education?
Yeah, I have a question, Chair.
Sure.
Randy?
Yes, Senator.
The bill calls for Kauai and Maui, and then the TMKs attached includes most of all the schools in the state. And I see Hawai'i Islands schools there. So is the Hawai'i Islands lands then were already transferred.
That is my understanding, Senator
Okay.
Noy.
All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. And of course, the purpose of this, we started this a couple years ago with the county lands of
Mhm.
Honolulu. And to date, I'm not even sure how many titles have been turned over. But I think this is an important process to make sure that when our schools need to do rebuilding or building of their campus, that they have the authority and the right to do so. And thus this bill, as well as the previous bills that we have already passed. Members, any further questions? Thank you. Do we need to go into recess?
No,
Okay, ready to go.
we got just one, ready to go.
Thank you. So we are going to vote on this measure now. The recommendation of the Chair on Education will be to pass out Senate Bill 2186, amending the, sorry, amending the TMKs as noted in DOE's testimony and some technical and non-substantive amendments. Vice Chair for the votes, passing out Senate Bill 2186 with amendments. Chair votes aye.
The chair voting aye on Senate Bill 2186 with amendments. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Kanuha. Excused. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, 4 members present voting aye, 1 excused. The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chair.
Yes, thank you. The Committee on Water and Land, same recommendations to pass SB 2186 with amendments. Any discussion, Committee on Water and Land? Hearing none, then Vice Chair for the vote, Chair goes aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Misalucha,
Aye.
Senator Favela,
Aye.
and I don't see Senator
Yes.
Revere, so he's excused. Recommendation adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the Chair, Vice Chair of Waterland, Senator Lorraine Inouye, and Senator Gilbert Keith Algaron, and the members of their committee for their support of this bill.
Thank
This
you.
hearing is adjourned.
Calling the Committee on Human Services joined with the Committee on Education, 3:15 calendar. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. Present for the Committee for Human Services, we have Senator Binette Misalucha on Zoom, as well as Senator Kurt Favela and myself. And would you like to say the attendance of your committee?
Yes, and for the Committee on Education, myself is Chair, Senator Kidani. Our Vice Chair to my right is Senator Donna Mikado Kim. And on video, we have Senators Donovan De La Cruz and Favela. And also on my far left, Senator Drew Panoho. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we also have the presence of Senator Laura Ocasio by Zoom for Human Services. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at the 3:05 p.m. calendar, February 15, 2022, room 225, and via video conference. And a public notice will be posted on the legislator's website. Your audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. Each testifier will have 2 minutes to testify. If there's a technical glitch during your time to testify, we may move on to the next person due to time constraints. We appreciate your understanding, and we remind you that the committee has your written testimony. I'll be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislator's website. You'll find a link on the status page for the measure. So first up is our only bill that's joint, and that's SB 2701 relating to early education. establishes and makes an appropriation for an early child care work subsidy pilot program, makes an appropriation to the Hawaii Early Childhood Educator Special Fund. First up, we have the Executive Office of Early Learning in Support. Colleen?
Aloha. Hi, thank you. Aloha chairs and committee members and vice chairs. EOEL stands on its testimony supporting the intent of this bill and would like to clarify that there is pay parity in the public funded pre-kindergarten programs, but compensation this is not the case for the private sector. Compensation issues exacerbate the workforce challenges that these community-based programs encounter. We wish to also reiterate that appropriating funds to the Early Learning Special Fund rather than the Hawaii Early Childhood Educator Special Fund would benefit the early childhood workforce via the stipend program. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up we have Nathan Murata for the University of Hawaii in support.
Oh, good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Chair San Buenaventura, Vice Chair Kim, and Vice Chair Ihara, and members of the committee. On behalf of Provost Michael Bruno and I, we thank you for the opportunity to testify in strong support of SB 271 relating to early education. We stand by written testimony and I'll be available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm testifying for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women, Karajabola Carbolos, and support. Is she
Not present, Chair.
Not present. Thank you very much. I see Yvonne Lau for the Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission providing comments. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair San Buenaventura, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and Vice Chair Ihara, and members of the committee. We offer comments basically just to clarify that the commission does not actually employ early childhood educators. Our individual charter schools do. So we just offer those comments and wish this bill very well. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. We also have from Department of Human Services, Bessie Scott Nakasone or Dana Luca providing comments.
Good afternoon, chairs and committee members. Scott Nakasone, Department of Human Services. The department stands on its written comments, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Craig Hirai, Department of Budget and Finance provided comments. And we have Kathleen Algeier, Hawaii Children's Action Network speaks in support. Kathleen.
Thank you, Chair San Buenaventura, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Ihara, and Vice Chair Mercado Kim. You have my written testimony in strong support. I just wanted to highlight a couple of key pieces of information for you. The intent of this bill is to recruit and retain our early care and learning workforce. Over the past couple of years, we've seen a steady decline, especially in child care, in the number of people that are in that workforce. That has decreased the number of spaces and programs available to our families. When we've looked at the reason why people are leaving, compensation is often listed as number one. Compensation programs aren't unheard of. There are a number of states already doing it. Most recently, Washington, D.C. just passed a measure to give between $10,000 and $14,000 to childcare workers and to permanently raise wages. We also want to make sure that folks entering into the profession are supported, and that's why we support funding into the Early Educator Stipend Program. So we're asking for your support today for children, families, and for our dedicated early learning and caring professionals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Early Learning Board in support. Is that you for Early Learning Board?
No, Chair, not present.
Okay, not present. So next one is Terry Locke, an individual in support. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Senators. Thank you so much for hearing this bill. I'm in support of this bill. I do want to point out a few things. So I am testifying as personally, but also I am at the University of Hawaii College of Education, Manoa College of Education. I am an instructor there, also the director of a project called Hawaii Early Childhood Educator Excellence and Equity Project. And these are one of the issues that we are really concerned about. I do want to just mention that research has shown that a diverse, well-prepared, well-supported, and well-compensated workforce is essential for the delivery of high-quality early childhood programs. They are the cornerstones of our communities in our state, and we want to support our youngest children as well as our working families. However, for decades, we've been facing a crisis that is only getting worse. Low compensation has forced dedicated professionals, especially those working in community-based and home-based programs, to leave the field, and this has prevented others from joining. I also want to point out that as we consider a pilot wage program, to really consider looking at those who are especially caring for infants and toddlers in home-based and center-based programs, because as we consider, or as we, yes.
Yeah, could you please wrap up? And we do have,
yes.
Everybody is in support, by the way.
Okay.
You know.
So anyway, I stand on my testimony. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. So as stated, there's hope. Anybody else on Zoom land who wants to testify regarding this measure SB 2701? Okay, seeing none. Those who are providing written comments or support are in support. Hawaii Mothers Healthy Babies Coalition of Hawaii, AAUW of Hawaii in support. Early Childhood Action Strategy in support. Special Education Advisory Council in support. And we've got 22 other individuals all in support, and we have no opposition. Members, any questions of the live witnesses? Senator Misalucha.
I have a question for DHS. Is there somebody?
Yes.
Okay, so in the testimony, it was interesting that you wanted to determine whether the first cohort for the pilot will use the subsidy to either supplement their income or to, or if they're using it to further their professional development. Why is that important?
I think it's just for us to get some clarity in terms of the intent of the measure, because in our reading of it, we weren't clear in terms of if it was to further enhance the workforce through the offering of professional development or trainings or of that nature, or if it was something to do with retention of the workforce. And so that was our comment or our question.
Is that easy enough to get that information?
I think, well, again, I guess it's our question to the measure, the intent of the measure. And so that's what we're trying to just get clarification from through our reading of this draft of the measure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions, members? Seeing none, may we have a breakout room?
All right.
Recalling the 3:15 calendar on the Joint Committee hearing for Human Services and Education, voting on SB 2701 relating to early childhood education. HMS's chair's recommendation is to amend the purpose to reflect the clarification of purpose requested by DHS on page 1, lines 12 to 13, saying that the purpose is to retain existing early child care workforce. Accept all of the EOEL amendments on section 1, line 14, subsection 2, basically deleting Hawaii Early Childhood Educator and replacing it with Early Learning Special Fund. And on section 4, line 15, same deletion of the Hawaii Early Childhood Educator and replacing it with the Early Learning Special Fund pursuant to section 3021 or 302L. And the state accept also State Public Charter School Commission amendment on page 2, lines 10 to 12. changing the or state public charter schools by removing the word state and removing the word commission and adding a plural to the schools. Otherwise, it's a blank appropriation, so there's no need to do a defect date. Any questions, comments, HMS? Okay, so for HMS, we are ready to vote. Vice Chair Ihara on SB 2701, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
All members are present. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Ocasio?
Aye.
Senator Misalucha?
Aye.
Senator Favela?
Aye.
The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. And for the Committee on Education, with all members present, the recommendation of the chair is to pass out Senate Bill 2701 with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on Senate Bill 2701 with amendments. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Kanuha.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
5 members present, all voting in the affirmative. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members.
We are adjourned.
Good afternoon. Calling to order the meeting of the Committee on Education and the Committee on Health. It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. It's 3:30 p.m. We're in conference room 229. Okay. Welcome to the Committees on Education and Health. Today is Wednesday, February 9th at 3:30 p.m. room 229. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3:30 agenda for the Committees on Education and the Committee on Health. It is in the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committees will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Friday, February 11th, 2022 at 3:00 p.m. and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. I've read this so many times. Should you experience any technical difficulties when it is your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. Your understanding is appreciated, and we would like to remind you that the committee has your written testimony. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the audio broadcast. If you wish to review the written testimony submitted, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. That took 5 minutes of our committee time. Okay. First measure is Senate Bill 2187 relating to school-based health services, includes advanced practice registered nurses with prescriptive authority in the list of healthcare professionals authorized to administer medication to public school students, requires administration of medication to be approved by the Department of Health or other on-campus school-based healthcare provider pursuant to a written agreement with the Department of Education. To testify, please, Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi.
Oh, hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Chair Keoho Kalole, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, Vice Chair Baker, and members of the committee. I'm Heidi Armstrong, from the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi. Let's see. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments on Senate Bill 2187. The department supports the addition of the APRNs to the list of practitioners who may prescribe medication for students. The department also supports the intent of having a school-based healthcare provider approve medication to be administered at school. However, new protocols need to be developed and coordinated with the Hawaii State Department of Health in order for this transition to occur. And training and record-keeping processes would also need to be developed. In addition, should this bill move forward, we respectfully request a revision on page 1, line.
Thank you, Heidi. Next to testify, Laura Reichheart, Director, Hawaii State Center for Nursing. Laura, please.
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Keohokalole and Vice Chairs Kim and Baker. Thank you very much for hearing this measure today. The Center for Nursing stands on our written testimony related to Section 1, and we're available for any questions related to APRN practice. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Next to testify, Daintry Bartolus, Executive Administrator for State Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, and committee members. We are standing on our testimony in support. I'm sorry, my name is Daintry Bartolus. I'm the Executive Administrator, and we stand in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Daintry. Next to testify, Dr. Elizabeth Char, Director of Health for Department of Health, please.
Not present, Chair.
Thank you. They are in support. Next to testify.
Oh, Glenn. We stand on our written testimony in support and offer amendments. School health aides are now called school health assistants.
Thank you. Can I have your name? I can't see it from
Yeah,
here.
I'm Dr. Glenn Wasserman, Chief Communicable Disease and Public Health Nursing Division for Department of Health, representing the Director of Health.
Thank you. Next to testify, Clementine Carrera, Seria Ulep, Interim Dean and Professor for the University of Hawaii, please.
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Keohokalole, Vice Chairs Kim and Baker, and members of the committees. My name is Clementina Seria Ulep, Interim Dean for the University of Hawaii at Manoa, Nancy Atmosphera Waltz School of Nursing. And thank you for the opportunity to provide strong support for the Senate Bill 2187. I stand by my testimony and open for any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes a list of testifiers. And we do have written testimony. Another 8 or 9 pieces of written testimony. Members, questions? If not, moving on to the next item. Senate Bill 2822 relating to asthma requires the Department of Education to offer optional asthma education courses to students and provide mandatory asthma training to teachers and other department employees who interact with students. To testify, Superintendent Hayashi, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Heidi Armstrong again from the Department of Education. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments on SB 2822, and I thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Heidi. Next to testify, Pedro Haro, Executive Director, testifying for American Lung Association in Hawaii.
Aloha, chairs, vice chairs, and committee members. The American Lung Association stands in full support of this bill. We have been happy to have been working with the Department of Education on similar initiatives for the past 2 years, and that we have been coordinating and providing asthma education courses. And of course, what we know is that the unfair burden falls on Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders who have an undue burden of asthma in children. So we think that this bill will truly go a long way towards health equity. Thank you very much. I'll be available for questions.
Thank you, Pedro. Next to testify, Nicole Wu, Director of Research, Economic Policy, testifying for Hawaii Children's Action Network speaks. Nicole.
Aloha, Chair. Hi, thank you. Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Thank you. I'm Nicole Wu again from Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks. And thank you for hearing this bill. Asthma is a chronic problem among the children in Hawaii, and we do want to make sure that those with asthma have a real chance to thrive in all environments, including our schools. So I stand on our written testimony in support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. That concludes our oral testimony. We do have a total of 12 written testimonies. Members' questions? If not, moving on to the next bill, Senate Bill 2071, relating to health, requires all principals, guidance counselors, and teachers to perform self-review of seizure safety materials annually. Requires a seizure action plan for every diagnosed student and distribution of the plan to employees charged with supervising the student. Requires public schools, private schools, and public charter schools to have an employee trained to administer seizure disorder rescue medication. Exempt schools that do not have a student with a seizure disorder. Makes an appropriation. To testify, Superintendent Hayashi, please.
Hi, good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committee. Again, I'm Heidi Armstrong from the Department of Education. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments for SB 2071. The department does have systems in place to support students with chronic health conditions such as seizure disorders, and we have shared these systems in our written testimony. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Heidi. Next to testify, Yvonne Lau, Interim Executive Director, Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, Chair Ke'oho Kalole, Vice Chair Baker, and members of the committees. Thank you very much for the opportunity to provide this testimony. We support the bill, but we have some concerns with the implementation of the requirements in our public charter schools. Just as some background, we do not have, many schools of our public charter schools do not have health aides. And at times their access to the public health nurses is a bit spotty. Additionally, we don't have a centralized system to support our schools like a keiki nurse program like the department has established. We actually have been working with the Department of Health and also with our department partners in trying to stand up a similar program. And in fact, we are so grateful that the Department of Health has provided some foundational funding for that. And it's just really due to the way that our schools are structured and the funding streams. Our schools do not have the financial capacity to employ. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Next to testify, Evan Oye for Hawaii Association for Justice. Evan, please.
Aloha, Chair Kidani, Chair Ke'oho Kalole, members of the committees. My name is Evan Oye on behalf of Hawaii Association for Justice, or HAJ. We stand on a written testimony supporting the intent and providing amendments to remove the liability immunity language. Will be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Next to testify, Naomi Manuel, Executive Director, testifying for Epilepsy Foundation of Hawaii. Naomi, please.
Chair Kidani, Chair Ke'oho Kalole, and members of this Joint Committee on Education and Health. I stand on my written testimony in strong support of Senate Bill 2071, but would like to add just a quick comment. Epilepsy is a disease or disorder of the brain which causes reoccurring seizures. It is a spectrum disease comprised of many diagnoses with many different types of seizures and varying levels of seizure control. Not all students with epilepsy have a seizure every day. Not all students with epilepsy have seizure rescue medication prescribed to them. But for each student with epilepsy, the risk of a life-threatening seizure is present every single day of their lives. They know this, their families know this. Passing a seizure-safe schools bill would greatly improve the care and safety of students with epilepsy so they can reach their full potential with as minimal disruption to their learning environment as possible. 1 in 10 will experience a seizure and 1 in 26 will develop epilepsy. It is vital that school personnel are prepared to appropriately and efficiently respond to anyone having a seizure. I just really want to thank you for allowing this opportunity to testify, add comments, and I will be here to answer any questions. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Naomi. Next to testify, Maureen Ballard, individual. Maureen, please.
Aloha, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and provide support for SB 2071. I have submitted my written testimony and stand by it. I am a nearly 22-year resident of the state of Hawaii and a person with epilepsy for the past 36 years. Seizure-safe legislation like this provides students with epilepsy and seizure disorders the reassurance that should they have a seizure during the school day, educators will know what to do. Witnessing a seizure can be a very scary event. Witnessing a seizure and not knowing what to do can be even scarier. This legislation would give educators the confidence to respond appropriately, not if, but when a seizure occurs in their presence. My first seizure was when I was 12 years old, just a month before the school year started. Fortunately, it was at home, and my mother, who was a nurse, was able to respond. That was not necessarily the case if I was at school. So please, I encourage you to support SB 2071 to provide our students a safe and enriching environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Members, that concludes our oral testimony. We have 22 pieces of testimony for this bill and all in support. That concludes the bills that we have. Members, are there questions on any of these bills and the testifiers, please? Any questions? Chair Ke'ohokolole, any questions from the Health Committee? Okay. Hearing none. Can we go into breakout? Woohoo. Reconvening the committees on education and health. We are in decision making, and the recommendation for Senate Bill 2187 relating to school-based health services. For the Education Committee, recommendation is to pass with amendments, taking the amendments offered by DOE and DOH in their testimony to replace the word aids with the word assistance on page 1, line 4. Any questions? For the Committee on Education, recommendation for Senate Bill 2187, pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation for the Committee on Education on SB 2187 is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Favela. Aye. Chair, you have 4 ayes. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Chair Ke'ohokolole for the Health Committee.
Health Committee, same recommendation. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki. Senator Moriwaki. Excused. Senator San Buenaventura.
Aye.
And Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendations adopted, 4 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you. For the Committee on Education, next bill, Senate Bill 2822 relating to asthma. The recommendation of the chair will be to pass this bill with amendments, taking the amendments offered by the DOE in their testimony. Questions? For Senate Bill 2822, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation for the Committee on Education on SB 2822 is to pass with amendments. Noting excused Senator Kim. Of the 4 other members present, any with reservations or in opposition? Chair, you have 4 ayes, 1 excused. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Senator Ke'ohokolole for the Committee on Health.
Health Committee, same recommendation. Chair votes aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki is excused. Senator San Buenaventura.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation is adopted, 4 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for the last bill, Senate Bill 2071 relating to health and the plan for seizure safety materials. The recommendation of the chair is to pass with amendments defecting the date to July 1, 2050. Also to insert an additional blank appropriation to the DOE for the purposes of increasing health aid and nursing services to cover the charter schools. Questions, members? Recommendation is to pass Senate Bill 2071 with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Committee on Education, SB 2071. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments, noting Senator Kim as excused. Of the 4 members present, any with reservations, any opposition? Chair, you have 4 ayes, 1 excuse. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. For the Committee on Health, Chair Keohopolole, please.
Members, same recommendation. Chair votes aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Moriwaki is excused. Senator San Buenaventura. Aye. Senator Favela. Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, members of the Committees on Health and the Committee on Education. This concludes our hearing. I would like to just make an explanation of why we are defecting the date to July 1, 2050 for our last testifier. And this is to give the Ways and Means Committee an opportunity to look at the blank appropriation to see what they can put in that blank. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is only our 4th hearing today. Committee on Education. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Education. Today is Wednesday, February 9th. It is 3:55 now, and we are in hearing room 229. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3:30 agenda for the Committee on Education. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties or loss of my voice, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Friday, February 11, 2022 at 3:00 p.m. and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Should you experience any technical difficulties when it is your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. Your understanding is appreciated, and we would like to remind you that the committee has your written testimony. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the audio broadcast. If you wish to review the written testimony submitted, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. Thank you. Okay, members of the Committee on Education, this is our 4th hearing notice today, so let us begin, starting with Senate Bill 2827 relating to the Early Learning Board, adds the Director of Hawai'i P20 Partnerships for Education as an ex officio non-voting member to the Early Learning Board. To testify, Hitayashi, interim superintendent, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, I'm sorry, I thought I unmuted my camera. Okay, sorry, let me try again. Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Markata Kim, and members of the committee. I'm Terry Ushijima, Interim Assistant Superintendent with the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi. The Hawaii State Department of Education supports SB 2827, adding the Executive Director of Hawaii P20 Partnerships for Education as an ex officio non-voting member of the Early Learning Board. Thank you for this opportunity to provide testimony on SB 2827.
Thank you, Terry. Next to testify, Colleen Momohara, interim director. Colleen, please.
Aloha, Chair Kidani and committee members. EOEL stands on its written testimony, and mahalo for the opportunity to provide comments. We defer to the Early Learning Board on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Next to testify, Robert Peters, Chair, testifying for the Early Learning Board. Robert?
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani. On behalf of the Early Learning Board, we've offered comments on this bill because the board has not yet had a chance since the bill was made public to take a position on the bill. We will tomorrow at our monthly meeting. We are particularly interested in looking at this bill in terms of what its implications are for growing the board at this particular time. I'm happy to answer any questions that members may have with regard to the Early Learning Board when the time is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. That concludes the oral testimony for this bill. There are a total of 5 testimonies received. Moving on, next item is Senate Bill 2038 relating to early learning, requires that each neighbor island county is represented on the Early Learning Board without term limits, subject to removal and replacement by the mayor of the respective counties. To testify, please, Colleen Momohara, interim director.
Aloha again, Chair Kidani and committee members. EOEL stands on its written testimony. We appreciate the opportunity to provide comments, and we defer to the Early Learning Board on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Next to testify, Robert Peters.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani and members of the committee. The Early Learning Board is not ready to take a position on this particular bill, as it has not had the opportunity to discuss its implications for the board and the increase in size and additional membership. We'd be happy to answer any questions if that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, that concludes the oral testimony. We received 13 testimonies on this bill. We're going to move on to oh yes. Members, questions? I do have questions for Bob Peters, please. Your testimony is that Early Learning Board has not had a chance to discuss these bills. Has the Early Learning Board ever discussed the makeup or composition of the Early Learning Board?
We have had discussions about the composition, and in fact, it's one of our priorities this year to really begin to dig into that, to look at the nature of the board, what its needs are at this stage of its development, and the representation on the board.
And right now you have 17 members.
Yes,
which is quite a lot for any governing board, actually. So adding 4 or 5 more members, I'm not sure if that's something that you think Early Learning Board needs, but
I think that will be a good part of the focus of the conversation as we look at these 2 bills. It has less to do with the worthiness of the representation in this case, and probably more to do about the size and what's a reasonable size to be an effective board.
Thank you, Robert. So are you saying that the board is planning to take up these questions at a future meeting, or
Yes.
are you saying that this is just not feasible?
Now, I can't share the sense of the board since we haven't had this conversation in any depth, and obviously not with these particular bills in front of us. Tomorrow's meeting, which is the monthly meeting of the board, these two bills are on the agenda for conversation, as are the other major bills that affect the Early Learning Board and the Executive Office on Early Learning. So after that meeting, I should have a better sense of the board and its intentions.
Okay, thank you for that information, Robert. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Members, further questions? Moving on to Senate Bill 3280 relating to the issuance of special purpose revenue bonds to assist St. Joseph School in planning, designing, constructing, reconstructing, renovating, acquiring, equipping, and improving their educational facilities. To testify, Matthew F. Dink, Head of School, St. Joseph High School.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for your time. I'm just here to support any questions about the bill as we've written statements.
Thank you. Next to testify, Randy Pereira, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Senators. Thank you
afternoon,
guys
Randy.
very much. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
Glad to see all are well. Thank you guys very much. I'm testifying today as a board member and proud alum of St. Joseph's Schools, pardon me, and a member of the Cardinal Legacy Foundation. We provide a written testimony and certainly would welcome any questions from the committee and appreciate your support moving this forward.
Thank you, Randy. Members, any questions? For Matthew, can you give us a little bit information on what this special purpose revenue bonds is going to be used for?
Yeah, so St. Joseph's going through a little bit of a resurgence now. And so as things are picking up in our community, a new gym or a multi-purpose building would help us support our community. So where the police station's right next to us, the fire department's building a new fire station next to us. So as things are building up in our area, we think we can better support the community if we have a new multi-purpose building. Our current building that we use is almost 60 years old. So
I don't see a number associated with what you're requesting. Is there a figure attached to this?
At this point, Senator, we're still working with our architect, but I will tell the committee that we're looking at approximately $4 million. Just that's the rough estimate based on what we're looking at this dream stage. And certainly would work with BNF if in fact we're so fortunate to get the legislature to appropriate the.
Okay, that helps us. Thank you so much, Randy, for that information. Members, further questions? If not, moving on to Senate Bill 2612 relating to environmental sustainability, establishes a reusable utensil pilot project in DOE schools on Molokai, requires the Department of Education to report to the legislature on the feasibility of statewide implementation, appropriates funds. To testify, Superintendent Hayashi, please.
Hello, Chair Kidani, members of the committee, Randy Tanaka, Office of Facilities and Operations for Sup Kidani and the department. We stand by our testimony. I can tell you, in fact, that I have seen the program. It's very inspiring to see that we start with our younger groups to have them understand what sustainability means in its application. The one request we have is the removal of the requirement to adopt administrative rules. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am available for questions. Aloha.
Thank you, Randy. That's the only oral testimony we have of the total 17 testimonies received, all in support. Members, Any questions? If not, moving on. Is that the final one?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we need to recess.
No, but we gotta get Donovan on or, oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is. Okay. I don't think we need to recess, so let's just go move forward. So for Senate Bill 2827 members, the recommendation of this chair is to defer this bill and also to defer the next bill, Senate Bill 2038, as our early learning board has not had the chance to meet on this, and they are having a meeting tomorrow. So we will defer to a later date. Members, questions? Okay, on Senate Bill 3280, this is for the issuance of special purpose revenue bonds to assist St. Joseph School. Members, the recommendation of this chair is to pass as is. Senate Bill 3280. Members, questions? If not, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye
Pass unamended.
for SB 3280 to pass unamended. Myself votes aye. Senator Dela Cruz.
Aye.
And Senator Kim and Favela, Senator Favela on SB 3280.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye.
Okay, Senator Favela with aye, Senator Dela Cruz, aye, I vote aye. Senator Kim is excused. Chair, you have 4 ayes, 1 excused. Recommendation
Aye.
is adopted.
Senator Favela.
Gotcha.
Senate Bill 2612 relating to environmental sustainability. This is for the pilot project at DOE schools on Molokai. The recommendation of the chair is to pass Senate Bill 2612 with amendments to remove the requirement for the DOE to adopt rules to effectuate this pilot program. Members, questions? If not, Senate Bill 2612 passed with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Senate Bill 2612, noting the excuse, Senator Kim as excused, 4 members present. Are there any opposition, any reservations? Seeing none, Chair, you have 4 ayes. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Can we go back to Senate Bill 2827 and Senate Bill 2038 relating to the Early Learning Board? The recommendation of the chair was to defer, but I just wanted to clarify that we are going to defer indefinitely. Senate Bill 2827 and 2038. Members, questions?
No.
All right. This concludes the meeting on education.